Hello everyone. Welcome to another interview when I'll be interviewing my students who have, finished their course and they are now stepping in as a basic consultant. And it is really nice for me that I share all these experiences because, I find it really amazing when people enter Ayurveda and they learn the structure with which I teach. It definitely has my passion. So to watch them grow in this journey. So let's welcome Alexandra today. Hello, Alexandra.
Hello, Dr. Shivani. Thank you for inviting me to speak with you today.
It's really nice to have you here. So Alexandra will introduce herself because I think she can do it better than me.
My name is Aleksandra and I am an Ayurvedic consultant and yoga teacher based in Poland, in Kielce. And I work professionally with Ayurveda and yoga since the beginning of 2018. And since then, I've been teaching people about Ayurveda. So I do some workshops about Ayurveda, but mainly I focus on doing consultations.
Right.
And I consult people to improve their health and to live a little bit more consciously. And I teach yoga classes. So basically that's the scope of the things I do. I do also like in private consultations, online, or now we cannot do consultations because of the situation with COVID-19, but I also do like online consultations.
Okay. So it's so interesting how the COVID situation has brought us all into, considering that we have to work with our health. And I see it as an era of really going towards the real health, to boost up immunity, to, lift up your soul, to really fight the stress, rather than just, entering science to get your blood pressure better or diabetes or stuff like that, So it's a great era,
Yes.
though it's a very stressful one. And I totally understand many of us are in difficult situations with COVID-19, but it is also another era of really rethinking your health and how you can plan your life in a better way. So Alexandra has just finished the ACOC 1 course, and she was the part of the 8th edition course. And today I'm going to ask her a little bit more about what it brought more to her Ayurvedic practice. So how did the course help you in becoming a better consultant?
So first of all, the course gave me the one skill I was searching for a long time, and mainly to have a proper structure when doing an Ayurvedic consultation. So for me, the search for this structure was quite a long way, and it took me a lot of working hours. And I had problems, I struggled with it, finding my own structure, because I have never been taught any proper structure how to conduct the consultation. All the courses I did before taught me a lot about theory of Ayurveda. They taught me a lot about the theory, what should Ayurvedic consultation include, like a classical Ayurvedic consultation. But once I went into the field of consulting, of working as a consultant, I realized that many of the skills I've been taught were either not applicable in the modern context, or they were only useful for people who are maybe in clinics or hospitals, but not useful if you work with clients one-to-one in Europe, with people who don't have like 3 months time to stay in a hospital. So I started to search for my own structure. I was trying to build it myself, and I struggled a lot. I was searching for many informations, but I couldn't put it all together. And then I heard about your course, Dr. Shivani. I heard again about it and again and again. I know also one girl here in Poland who attended your course, and you know, like I started to listen to your podcast. I started to read things you write, like your Facebook post, and more and more I thought, this could be something for me. So even I did some consultation courses, like I did some basic consultant course before I decided to give it a try and take part in it.
Right. I think like, sometimes I think if it should be called a basic consultant course, because, when I see some other courses which talk about basic, and their basic and my basic is
Yeah,
different basic.
very
And
different.
yeah, so, sometimes it can be confusing to hear like, okay, it will be just a basic consultant, but it has to be a basic consultant because, of the way I have seen people. I think the most important skill a consultant should build is communication. In fact,
Yeah.
the best skill anybody can build is communication. Because when we learn how to communicate with our clients, then we can help them understand our Ayurvedic message in a better way,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because they will resonate with it. They will be like, this is for me. And what happens many times is like, it is Ayurveda sounds interesting only for the people who are into Ayurveda, right? The new ones are like, okay, something I don't know about it. So the way you are communicating, even after a basic structure, gives you a lot of tools on how to really communicate properly with your clients. Because I know this feeling, when you really want to do your best work, and then they come, and then you don't know, if you should tell them more, if this is enough, or they need a plan or don't need a plan, and you feel like you could have done better, isn't it? Like you have this feeling
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I had this very often, especially with clients that had multiple problems.
Yes.
And they came to me very often in the moment where nothing else was helping them, or they didn't know where to move next, and then they were asking me for help. And for me, it was very hard to decide, like, what can I do in this situation, and what can I can't do, because obviously in situations where you have clients that are very sick, uh, with some things I cannot help them anymore,
Right.
and very important was for me to learn also this, that sometimes I can say no, or I can explain them like, this is not part of what I do. With
Exactly.
this you have to go to a doctor,
Exactly.
and so this was very important. And also, as you say about the communication, most of the times when you do some Ayurvedic course, I did quite multiple courses in my life, in different places all over the world. And all of them had one thing in common. They just gave you theory, but nobody ever explained to you how to put it in practice. And, me as a consultant, obviously, I have to know a lot, but even more important than that is to know how to explain this to my clients, and how to, pass on the information that they can get a structure they can work with, that they know what to do, and then they have clear steps. And nobody teaches this. This was, for me, so hard, because I had this feeling like I know a lot and I'm still learning more, but I'm not moving with the consultations. They're not getting better, even though I know more, and
Right.
this is a very very confusing situation for me before.
Exactly. I think like you made a big point here, because I think the reason is because especially in Western medicine, and because I'm an Ayurvedic doctor and I've been practicing medicine also, it's very defined what they will do for you. The ear doctor will never look in your eye. He will say, I only look at the ears. But as an Ayurveda consultant, you are expected to be all, like all in one. Somehow you have to be magical, and somehow you solve all the problems. And that's where it is very nice to have the structure to know, like, this is your boundaries and this is where you advise, then the second boundaries, and then there is somebody else who is handling this, so that, okay, this is what I do. And you will find plenty of people who need that work, right? You will
Yes,
need plenty, but if you take the other group in your consulting practice, you will work a lot, you know and it doesn't only happen with Ayurveda. I heard this about other field also, that you work a lot before those hours to give
mm-hmm.
them the information, because you feel you have to. So having a structure definitely solves a lot of problem, makes it easier. And plus, people, the most common question people ask me is like, what should I do exactly now?
Yeah.
Right? That's their question. So,
Exactly. Yes.
so then you have the structure. Okay, we're starting here, we're balancing this, then we're balancing this, and they're like, oh, she knows what she's doing with. So that's what I need to pass. But basic consultant course is a little underrated word for it because it has so much of information which is not basic, but it's my basic because I've been working so many years to get the information for people, right? So what do you think, like how has the course affected you personally? What is the personal journey?
My personal journey. So first of all, you know, this part with the Ayurvedic psychology, that is a big part of the course. We talked about this many times, that this was a big step for me, and not only big step for me as a consultant, but big step for me personally. So when I dived into the Ayurvedic psychology, and I was getting like more knowledge about it and reading more about it, and we had our weekly meetings and we talked about it, I was finding many things about myself that I didn't know before, or some things that I know, but I looked at them from a different point of view. So it, for me, this was like a little bit Ayurvedic psychology self-discovery that I did.
Right.
Because it allowed me to get to know myself better, and to be honest, it also allowed me to have more patience toward myself, because as I realized finally that I am a, you know, super pitta person, many things that happened in my childhood suddenly were understandable, why they went the way they went and not a different way. And then I had the chance to accept this, that this happened this way because I was this person, and I should not expect from myself to behave differently in some situations because it was not possible at the time, you know. And for me, this knowledge gave me a lot of like self acceptance for who I am, and for my character, for the person I am, and for the decision I made in my life. And for me, this was like big, like, aha, okay, it was all as it's supposed to be. I'm happy with it. And I think this was something I was working towards many years, but the Ayurvedic psychology was like this, you know, cherry on top of the cake that I got to tell me, like, okay, now you understand why, you know?
So you feel relaxed about yourself.
Yes, very much so.
Right.
Very
And you know, when we operate from this point of view, when we feel relaxed about ourselves, when we feel love in ourselves, when we are not constantly struggling every day to prove something, it just weans off a lot of pressure we are feeling inside. And this is specifically the very important part of the journey, which is designed, is that every consultant who is training with me is going through his own process of clearing up also. You know, so it is for being a consultant, but you know, you cannot be a consultant if all your life is falling apart first. So, and of course, emotions are a very important part of it, you know, because I think as humans we respond to emotions more than anything. Where we feel love, where we feel connection, we don't even look at the clock passing by, isn't it? In our class sometimes we were like, oh,
yeah,
hours are
so
finished.
fast. Yeah,
It
so
just
fast.
goes fast. Whereas when the same thing is done in a way of, you know, these boring lectures we attended in the college, we all wanted to run away. And I actually even have a mechanism when I don't like it, I don't even hear it, you know. So I'm like, okay, this is just, you have to just stand and survive it. So it's nice to have our growing community of consultants who are, you know, going to really effectively help people, having a structure and being as clear as the Western medicine where their boundaries are, which is so, so important. So I think you already told your answer that you best part enjoyed the psychology of the course.
Yes, I enjoyed so much because, you know, like I had some, a little bit on the experience with that before. I read one book maybe about it, some articles, and that was something I wanted to find out more about. But to be honest, it's super hard to find any information, any proper information about Ayurvedic psychology. And what you gave us during this course is like your personal experience that you collected over so many years of working with patients, and you won't be able to find this in any book. Yeah. And all you know, like you gave us so many information, and when I was reading through this, and when we did our meetings and we're talking through that, so often I was like, whoa, amazing. Oh, this information. Oh, this explains so much. I had so many aha moments with this Ayurvedic psychology. I think for me, this was something I did not expect from this course, and I get like extra, you know. I expected to learn about the structure, and I got that totally. But this was like something extra I got I did not expect. And I'm so grateful for that, because, you know, this is your personal work, and this is your love you put into that. And we can feel it that you love what you do, and you love the Ayurvedic psychology, and you love to, you know, go deep into people and understand them. And thank you for teaching us about that, because this was amazing for me. This was really amazing.
I think this is so important that, you know, we are understood in this world first by ourselves, and then, you know, by the people who love us, and we can communicate with them, and our relationships are better, because relationships and emotions are really playing a very important role in getting our health better.
Yes.
So we all think we are healthy, right? But there's something we could always work with. And I'm so happy that I have students who are going to help people with a similar way, because this kind of help is really what we call as the modern Ayurvedic help. You know, modern Ayurvedic help doesn't mean dressing up modern. It means understanding the problems of the modern society and the impacts it's creating. And I have to tell you this, that the impacts on women are higher, because, you know, they are more emotionally sensitive and vulnerable. So there is definitely a great chance of really, you know, getting your breaks back and stand tall or feeling stronger from inside when you do the ACOC1. And of course, to consult in a nice way, to find a nice consultant, you know, how much time does it take?
Yeah.
And we all go through this experience that, you know, especially these quizzes on the website and so on, which tell us nothing, you know. 5 questions and your dosha type, and this is not recommended. It's really important that you go to a proper person who can guide you according to your body type, what you exactly need to do, eat, what is wrong, why you're getting this disease. It's much more clearer picture, because when you understand what you need to work on, then you start working. But sometimes we just take supplements and we forget about like what we need to work on and what actually was the goal, and then we don't know the result, and then we're like into another pathy, saying Ayurveda is not working, or into another pathy, and this is not the way.
This is, yes, definitely what this course teaches, how to get results. And I think this is the most important, because without the results, the knowledge doesn't give us anything. You know, you can have all the knowledge of the world, but if it doesn't change anything, if it doesn't make you feel better, it's not useful at all.
And you know, modern life has really, especially as you know, coming up as a female, it has taught us that we have to be strong.
Yes.
So we are acting strong, but then the body is at a different level. Mm-hmm. The body is talking to us in another way. And in the former times, there used to not be some psychological types, like we learned in the course. One of the things, a type which suppresses its emotions, you know, it's called the vata suppressed type. Nobody knew about it, because nobody could imagine that somebody is strong outside and has emotions inside. And this is what I discovered through my consultations, you know, that people are acting as a Pitta, and they believe and they're Pitta, but they have emotions inside. And the way we can see it is that they have got diagnosis, you know, which is showing that they have something they need to work to kind of heal themselves. So it's very fascinating to really be in the world of consulting. And so even after training consultants, I do not stop consulting, because the consulting actually gives me the energy to train the consultants. And I think personally, if you don't have your personal work of consulting to say that you consult, you know, or, you know, you teach consulting, is not possible, because you have to do your work to be a consultant.
This is true.
Yes, you cannot teach consultations without doing how to do consultations.
This cannot work.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for this interview. And, you know where you can find good consultants if you want advice. you can find it in my team. All my students who are studying are getting their certificates with the work and studying properly, and follow the code to kind of really get right Ayurvedic advices before you actually judge Ayurveda.
Thank you, Dr. Shivani, for all your support during the course. It was an amazing journey. I enjoyed so much.
Yes, thank you, Aleksandra.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye.